Yo, yo, art friends. We're jumping into part 2 of this series on Visual Studio Code. The last video was setting up VS Code with Live Server. This time I want to show you how to set up something called Prettier and hopefully convince you that everyone should do this. So, we're going back to our extensions because there is a Prettier extension that will install it for us. So if you're not convinced, just watch this video first and make up your mind whether you want to install it yourself. If I search Prettier, it's the first one. Okay, it's installed. I'm going to close this window, go back to my File Explorer, and look at some documentation because this part is annoying. This is only a one-time setup, so this annoying thing that we're about to do, you only have to do once. Press Command Shift P if you use a Mac. Search format. Okay, it looks like I want format document. Configure. Prettier. I'll select this. Alright, that looks like it worked. One more step. This next step will tell VS Code to format, like, I'm just going to say autocorrect. Autocorrect our code every time we click save, which is highly desirable. So, Mac again, Command, comma. This time we search for editor format on save. Here it is. Format a file on save. I think that's everything. I'm going to close the settings. And, oh, not quite everything. I need to look at an example for how I want to set up my Prettier. Wow, this guy is literally me. I mean figuratively. Because I love these settings. Okay. First, we need to make a new file called .prettierrc.json. I'm just gonna... What? Sorry. Just gonna copy this guy's config file for myself. And actually, this is exactly what I want, so I'm not even going to change it. To use, okay, let's save it first. The file name must be prettierrc for this to work. So what are we doing here? Every folder that you want to have this auto formatting in needs a Prettier config file. And the Prettier config file always has this name, and it's always formatted like this. Semi means semicolons. I do not want semicolons in my JavaScript, so it will be false. Single quote, true. That means if I use double quotes and press save, it will autocorrect it to single quotes. If I put a semicolon in my code and press save, it will autocorrect to take out the semicolon. Tab width is how many spaces do you want your tabs to be. Because you should never ever use the actual tab button to create your tabs when you're coding. You want to always use quote-unquote tabs made from spaces for many reasons. But an amazing thing about Prettier is that you can just do 1 space, 3 spaces, actually use the tab button, whatever kind of crazy thing, and then it will autocorrect it all to make 2 spaces for all the tabs. So besides the things that are in this config file, it will do other nice things automatically, like take out lines of empty space where they shouldn't be. Other stuff too that I'm not thinking of. So this is, let me now try to sell you on Prettier. We've installed it, we've set it up with vscode, and we've created our config file, right? This little config file, we just make a new one in every folder where we're going to be working from. These are kind of specific to JavaScript. Maybe if you're writing some other kind of code, you would want different values here. Or you wouldn't want to tell it to mess with the quotes, for example. So, crossing my fingers that this is going to work. If I push save right now, VS Code should ask Prettier if it needs to autocorrect anything. Prettier is going to ask this config file how to autocorrect everything, and then I should see these semicolons disappear. Alright, why is that not working? Edit, correction. I didn't have a very important thing in my file name of Prettier RC. It has to start with a dot. I told you the file name is important and then I got it wrong. Okay, so dot Prettier RC.json. Now, if I push save, it should take out these semicolons. Command S, voila. So now we know Prettier is working and is doing what we asked it to do in this config file. What other cool stuff can it do besides take out semicolons? Well, let's say this tab is weird. Push save. Oh, look. It lined it up where it's supposed to be. 1, 2 spaces. Let's say I do something here. Let's say for some reason I do this without putting a tab. Right? That looks wrong, right? Because this should be indented. Push save. Voila. This is all Prettier. Look at what it did. It took out the extra lines of space I had. It made this tab here of the width that I had specified. It also does things like add spaces where they should be. So I can just type at full speed, never hitting space, push save, it puts the spaces in. Empty space, push save, it will let you have one line of empty space. So that's Prettier and why everyone should use it. The setup was a little annoying, but now we never have to worry about it again. You can copy and paste this file. Let's see. How do I look at my hidden files? Command period? No, Command Shift period. Okay, in Mac, if you hit Command Shift period in the Finder, it will show you hidden files. Okay, it thinks any file starting with a dot should be hidden. So when I first opened this folder, I didn't see my .prettier.rc.json file, but it was there. I just had to unhide it. If you forget that keyboard shortcut, you can always go to Show View Options. No, you can't. You can always go to Finder Settings. Okay, I don't even know. Just remember Command Shift period if you ever want to look at hidden files. You can copy and paste this to your other folder. If you're starting a new folder for a new sketch, just take this file with you, or just copy it inside vscode like this, and then make the new folder again and then paste it in there, whatever. Then you'll always have awesome formatting and awesome auto-correcting, and you can just, code faster, harder, stronger, and not worry about whether it's ugly or not, because it will make it prettier. Yay.